Arriving in Portugal was this mix of excitement and reality settling in at the same time. My body was tired, jet lag, travel days, time zones, all of it hitting at once. And even though I didn't feel fully sharp yet, I reminded myself that this is part of being an athlete, adjusting to a new environment. You adapt. You give yourself space to settle. Stepping onto the beach that first morning, watching the sunrise hit the water, it grounded me instantly. Like my mind was catching up to where my body had landed. Walking into our Airbnb, it felt like the beginning of something good. A place to reset, unpack, and slowly build the rhythm of the month. As we settled into those first days, that familiar question came up again. Could we live here? It happens almost everywhere we travel. When a place is beautiful, when the lifestyle makes sense, when you can imagine yourself growing there, it's natural to wonder. And Portugal is one of those places. It feels like the kind of environment that supports progression, not just in surfing, but in life. But having the freedom to live almost anywhere also comes with its own weight. Everywhere is an option, nothing feels obvious. It's tough to make a grounded decision when you're still adjusting. I gave myself permission to just land here first, to let the place reveal itself slowly. If somewhere truly fits, you feel it over time, not in the first 24 hours. Picked up boards, wetsuits, everything we needed to surf. And those first sessions were rough, cold water, thicker suits, new equipment. You feel it instantly. But instead of letting that discourage me, I treated it like data. Where I am today, what I need to adjust, what I can build from. Watching locals surf big waves that first day was inspiring. It reminded me that growth doesn't have to be dramatic on day one, just consistent. A storm rolled through the Atlantic, sending real power up the coast. So we decided to take a road trip north to Peniche, one of Portugal's surf capitals. The storm set the tone for a different kind of chapter. We stayed in an Airbnb that felt like a cozy little fisherman cabin, gave us a place to rest and recalibrate after the long drive. The next morning, we found a local pastry shop with good coffee, fresh bakes, and expats settling into their routines. It grounded us in the best way. Small rituals like this makes foreign places feel familiar. And then the waves. Big, cold, powerful surf. I paddled out with curiosity, not expectation, and quickly realized how different cold water surfing feels. It showed me what kind of waves support my progression here. We drove to Nazaré, a place that is home to the biggest waves on Earth and a long-time item on my bucket list.
Incredibly cool!
Castle time!
The swell was small on that day, the cliffs, the ocean energy, the history. It's amazing to see. I loved seeing the boards in the museum. Massive, heavy with thick rails, make you understand what level of athlete it takes to surf waves like that. Seeing them didn't make me want to surf big waves. It made me appreciate the lane I'm building, the pace I'm choosing. Back at our cabin, the pace softened again. Cloudy dinners, quiet nights, small routines, the kind of days where clarity shows up naturally. The next days felt lighter as the storm was moving away, and finally a surf session that connected. That's the reward for pushing through discomfort. Things eventually shift, and you feel momentum again. Driving back to the south coast with Aiden after the storm was the first moment I felt fully settled in Portugal. It felt like we were heading back home. Coming back to the South Coast felt familiar in a way that immediately put me back into training mode, where the days had structure again and the work felt clear. Once training picked up, I could feel that sense of readiness returning, not because anything changed overnight, but because the routine itself started to do what it's meant to do. In the gym, the work translated directly, and it reinforced the idea that surf progression doesn't begin in the water. It starts earlier through consistency and effort that most people never see. I kept circling back to the mental side of training because it became obvious how much that internal state influences the way you move, adapt, and stay patient during sessions. The physical work sets the foundation, but without control over focus and expectations, it doesn't compound the way it should. Learning to manage the internal dialogue and stay engaged when progress feels slower became part of the work itself, not something separate from it. Portugal reinforced that for me, not through a single breakthrough moment, but through the discipline of showing up day after day and trusting the process to do its job. Each day followed a rhythm that kept me grounded, putting the work in while the conditions were right, then resetting afterwards so I could come back ready to do it again. Learning to manage the internal dialogue and stay engaged when progress feels slower became part of the work itself. My gym sessions made that lesson unavoidable because there's no one else to carry the session for you and no conditions to blame when things feel off. Once you're in it, the responsibility is clear. The quality of the work depends entirely on how present you're able to be. Some sessions move easily and others don't, but the goal stays the same: execute the work properly and leave knowing you didn't cut corners. Some mornings moved slower, and instead of fighting that pace, I let it become part of the rhythm, knowing that not every session needs to start with urgency for the work to be effective. Those quieter starts gave me space to reconnect with why I'm training in the first place and reminded me that consistency matters more when it's intentional, not rushed. As the days stacked up, we spent more time moving along the coast and learning it session by session, letting experience guide decisions instead of forcing outcomes. Each day didn't feel like a breakthrough, but it did feel like progress, because every session built quietly on the one before it. Over time, the surf started to reflect the work I'd been putting in, not as a reward, but as a response to preparation. Things felt cleaner, more controlled, and less reactive. Like my body finally knew what was being asked of it, and could meet that demand without forcing anything. Even the slower moments away from the water played a role, because they kept the month balanced and allowed the work to hold its shape instead of burning out. Progress here didn't need to be dramatic to be meaningful. It just needed to be honest and repeatable. As the trip came to an end, a few things became clear, mostly because I had enough time in the routine to see what actually held up. The biggest one was that progress comes from alignment. When the mind and body are on the same page, the work feels sustainable instead of forced. I also learned how important it is to stay committed when things move slower than you expect. Most of the work doesn't give you immediate feedback, and learning to trust that process changes how you train. The last lesson was knowing when to stop pushing. Not every block is about adding more sometimes. It's about protecting what you've already built so it carries into what's next. Those lessons don't stay in Portugal. They come with me and they shape how I train moving forward. By the end of the month, going back to Nicaragua felt natural. Not because I was done with Portugal, but because it gave me what I needed. Cold water forced patience and discipline. Warm water is where I apply that work with more speed and confidence. So going home doesn't feel like going back. It feels like stepping into the next phase of training.